Yeah.
Welcome to another edition of the Final Scoop podcast. My name is Robert Schinetsky, the supplement engineer. Joining me is my international panel of industry insiders and Lukasz Rytkowski, Robert Samborsky, TJ Gonen, Shane Smith. Here we are again, my friends. Another Saturday, another early-ass morning for Shane on Sunday. And I don't see the monster yet, so Shane must have gotten some good sleep there.
I don't know. Like, again, it's another morning where I haven't needed it, so I'm going straight.
Outstanding. All right. So before we get to the main event of this week, we're going to go back and rewind to last week's discussion. TJ was swamped with some business matters, and we discussed the topic and utility, unscrupulousness of proprietary blends in the industry. And I had so many requests for wondering what TJ's thoughts on prop blends were. Do you think they're viable? Do you support them? How do you feel about them? And does that affect the way you review a supplement? So TJ, the floor is yours for prop blends.
I heard you guys talk about it. Personally, listen, honestly, generally speaking, if I had to say, like, do I give a shit or not, then I don't. In a pre-workout, right? Because that's mostly when you see prop blends in a pre-workout. So I just, for me, pre-workout is mostly about the experience. It's just like I don't give a shit about the flavor too much or the other stuff. I take a pre-workout to get the experience. If I can get the experience and there's some sort of a magic trick inside that, then fine. I don't care. But I would say this. There's definitely pre-workouts that the prop blend, and I heard you guys talk about, the prop blend is trying to mask underdosed stuff. So I want, instead of having a list of, hey, these are 4 things, and it looks like it's 10 things, but it's like 6 of them are whatever, 1 microgram each. I get that. With that said, though, at the end of the day, if I took the pre-workout and I enjoyed it, so, like, honestly, I just don't care. I know there's personally, I don't care. I don't think it's coming from. On the flip side, I would say I don't think it's. If the excuse is I'm trying to hide a secret formula, that's bullshit. Also, 99% of the time, because there's very little innovation. It's not like you are gonna do something. Oh wow, that's what you did. 300 milligrams of caffeine. Fuck that! Amazing. You're the first. So I think that why you're doing it is funky, right? Because even when people just replicate the same formula, it doesn't necessarily feel the same because the ingredients are different. Like the source of the ingredients is different, so it doesn't necessarily feel the same. Otherwise, then everyone would just take whatever, just take a formula that's working and just replicate it. The open ones, I mean, right? So yeah, personally, I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all when I review. Definitely pre-workouts, like I just don't care. I don't believe the labels anyway. It's not like I give a fuck about the label. Like, seriously, I just don't believe the labels. Labels are just labels because, like I said, sometimes it doesn't feel anything. And we talked about it in a couple of different contexts also, as far as which ingredients you use, how many trademark ingredients. We talked about it literally doesn't mean shit. Like, it's unbelievable, but it doesn't mean shit. I don't know how it is. Like, in some cases, you look at the label, and you say, wow, I'm supposed to feel so good right now, and I don't feel anything. And it's an open label, all scientifically dosed, whatever, and I don't feel anything. So personally, it doesn't bother me. I think that some of them do come from the point of trying to hide shit, but hide is in the sense of, I wanna justify why this is, I want you to see a big list of stuff, right? Which is funky. Because I can tell you some of the pre-workouts that I reviewed recently had like 5 ingredients. And they were fucking amazing. Amazing. Like super short list of ingredients. Check out Phase 1 Nutrition preface. Like that thing doesn't, like, I don't know what there is. Like 6 ingredients maybe? That, man, one of the best pre-workouts I tried in the last 2 years. And everyone that tried it. Now, there's 2 options. Either there's something on the label that's not on the label, right? Or labels are just fucking labels, or I don't give a shit. So I think I go with I don't give a shit personally.
Synergy.
Yeah. LCR did, I think Robert maybe mentioned that in the previous podcast, like this thing, Excelsior, that's running around. I don't know, like I reviewed it, a couple of people reviewed it. This shit, that list, if you look at the label, it literally looks like garbage. And I think the scoop size, like the serving size is, I don't know what it is, like 5 grams or whatever it is. There's nothing, right? Man, that shit makes you fly. Now, I'm sure it has shit in there that's not on label. Like 100%. There's just no way. The hit is so hard, people getting depressed post-workout. There's some molly, MDMA. I don't know what they're running in this shit. At least they ran it in the first incarnation. It's proprietary blend. You know, people buy it. Why? Because they like what it feels like, right? Wasn't the original Jacked proprietary blend?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was not open.
Right? Mezzo was a proprietary blend.
Yep.
Who the fuck
I still have
cared?
a tub of the DMAA version here.
Right? So no one cared. Did someone go and say, oh, please, Mezzo, please open up the label because I'm so... No, they didn't fucking care. They just bought it because it made them fly. Nobody cares. I think if the consumer doesn't care, again, it's not like you... Here's the thing with and I know Robert is probably like losing 2 years of his life like listening to my bullshit now because of the problem. But there's... I think at the end of the day, even if the label is open, I don't believe it anyway. So, and I have zero expectations based on labels. Labels are marketing scheme. Unless you're whatever, sending your labels with lab tests to prove that you have what you have. But even then, I don't give a shit because the experience. You can't.
Yeah, and I would agree with that.
In a lab.
Yeah, and I've taken pre-workouts and I think we've harped on this before, or at least touched on it, that I've taken pre-workouts that say on the label it's got 300, 350, 400 milligrams of caffeine in it, split out across a couple different forms, and I'll take it and I don't feel anything. And these are from reputable companies too. So at that point, it makes me beg the question, and it's not because I had bad sleep, because I'll sleep fine. Is it the combination of the ingredients they're using? Like, is it too much teacrine and dynamine with the caffeine, or is it like a choline overload that's on there for me particularly? And every time it's such an uneven experience.
Very uneven. I remember there was a review I did. It was one of the first ones I did. I can't even remember the name of the pre-workout. Like, you looked at the label, you were expecting that your head would explode and pumps and what. Literally got me depressed. Like that shit. I think it was the original extreme metabolic nutrition ESP extreme. Like that 500 milligrams of this and that and that. Dude, like I got depressed from that shit. Actually, the new version, which has way less shit, is amazing. So anyway, labels are just labels. I don't give a shit. In a pre-workout, right? Because I'm taking it for the experience. So, and if someone wants to be a scam bag and hide something, they can do it in an open label. Nobody tests this shit. This industry is like prostitution. It's like literally, it's you can have anything can happen, right? So I don't trust anyone anyway.
Supplement industry is the equivalent of prostitution. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it is. It's very, very unbalanced.
I would agree.
All right, PJ, what about the Game Changer pre-workout that you received?
Amazing. Yeah. All right, the review. Yeah, so bullshit. I also heard you guys talk about it, and you were like a bunch of pussies also. Like seriously, I watched you talk about it, and you were trying like, yeah, I see that. There's beginners, and it's not Game Changer though, but it might be nice for beginners. Fuck that. It was total bullshit even for beginners. My sister can come up with a better formula for beginners. Like seriously, just take some almond milk, some cereal, mix it together, a bunch of caffeine. What is that? It was such garbage. That's what pissed me off. It's not about, you want to come up with, I wasn't pissed with the Game Changer stuff, even though I used that and brought it up in the review. But I was pissed with, you want to come up with a beginner pre-workout? Come up with a good beginner pre-workout. What they came up with is garbage beginner pre-workout. Like there's 50 others much better out there. So that pissed me off, like really, that pissed me off. Because you're leveraging sort of, the Chris, and I like the Chris Getting brand, right? I like it. Like I know what I'm talking about. I'm zen. I'm not doing this for the money. And I followed some of his routines, and he looks smart, and he's cerebral, and he, like I watched him like on his India journeys, like talk for 50 minutes about the philosophy. All good. So you're using that brand to take beginners, right? And you're giving them a garbage product. If you're a garbage company, and that's what I said in the video, if your brand stands for margin, like your Cellucor, you're not trying to be the best. You're trying to be accessible, then fuck it, then okay. But if your brand stands for quality, like you go into their website, that's the first thing it says, premium supplements. Fuck that. That's not premium. So I think it was a sleazy move.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of anything they did with it. Yeah. And just because you're getting vegan, naturally sourced bird feathered BCAAs or whatever, you're sustainably sourced shit, that doesn't move the needle for me one way or the other.
Was the price confirmed?
28. I think that's what. I don't think it's out there. I think it's going to be out only next week.
Oh, TJ, along those lines, then, since you said it was a pretty shitty offering for a beginner pre-workout, let's get your take on what a good beginner pre-workout would be.
Yeah, so I actually mentioned that in my review. Check out the Beam Supplements pre-workout. That's an amazing beginner pre-workout. Amazing, so well done. Listen, 225 milligrams of caffeine, so it's like a whatever energy drink, right? And then you look at the formula, full formula with pumps, power, and just hits it right, because labels are just labels. It's amazing. It's not overbearing. It's not like a woman can take it, a skinny dude, someone that's sensitive to caffeine, but you get the full freaking experience. It feels like a pre-workout. It feels amazing. It, like, literally, I'm as a steam junkie. I take it and I enjoy it. I have it here. It's so that's a well done pre-workout formula for anyone. Very well done pre-workout formula for anyone that you can enjoy on a one scoop. So that's a good example. And I mean, just Robert, I heard you and Sandy talk about the protein for women, right? On that, it's like saying that beginners can. It's not about them. What the fuck is a beginner? Do they need less focus because they're beginners? Less pumps because the pumps might blow their body off, like they swole too much, like they're over swollen and blow up. What the fuck does that mean? Okay, I get it. They're a beginner. Don't put 600 milligrams of caffeine in that bitch, or DMHA, or 3 milligrams of alpha-O. But that's it. Why are you cutting everything by like 75%? That doesn't make any sense. What type of a beginner pre-workout is that shit? It's like saying, I think we talked about it here. It's like saying, oh, it's a woman protein, 12 grams of protein. She's a woman. She doesn't need all that protein. She's a woman. Or she's a beginner. Maybe we'll do a protein for beginners. How about that? Protein for beginners will have less than 20 grams of protein in the serve because they're beginners. So give them 10. It's bullshit. So they just try to cut the cost on that formula. That's what they did, and that's what it looks like. So I think I get it. You say beginner. The only thing I can see in a beginner is if you say, hey, maybe I'll do one without beta-alanine at all. Don't put 1.6. That's stupid. That's totally stupid. Either put what works or don't put it. If you say, hey, beginners don't like the tingling, which by the way, I don't think that's the case, but in any case, let's assume then take it out. Why are you putting 1.6? Obviously, so people will feel a bit the fucking stupid pre-workout that you put there. So that's bullshit at the get-go. And then if you want to put less caffeine, great. Do 200, 225 like Beam did, and it feels amazing. The rest, why are you cutting the rest? What does that mean? Like less focus? You're a beginner, man. You can't handle that amount of focus. I don't want you to get over-focused.
Yeah, in that case, I would just say, if you're going to label something as a beginner, somebody that's a beginner in the gym shouldn't even be using pre-workouts. They shouldn't be using any supplements whatsoever. They need to figure out, if somebody is truly a novice or to fitness, they need to focus on getting their diet and training in line, being consistent with that. Don't even fuck around with supplements. You maybe creatine, but even still, if somebody's coming to me for the first time and say, hey, man, I'm just starting at the gym, what supplements should I take? Or what supplements do I need? My answer is, you don't need any supplements. They are, by definition, supplemental. Right. So, let's see if you can train consistently for 6 to 12 months and eat hit your macros consistently. And then we'll circle back, 6, 10, 12 months from now. And then we can start maybe talking about some pre-workouts. Right. But even then, I wouldn't give them a beginner pre-workout because all of those things are either prop blends or severely underdosed. I would send them a lower stim pre-workout possibly, but not a beginner underdose product.
So
Yeah,
I
see, I
think
think
the
it's a.
innovation would be lower steam, not beginner. What the fuck does that beginner mean?
I think it's a. I think beginner pre-workout for me is a gray area between beginner and value, like just a cost-effective thing. Like that's why I was curious about the price, because if this was $15, then shit, hell yeah, this is fine, because Beam is like 40 or 50, is it? I don't know how much
I think
that
it's
one is.
40, yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
it $40 on their website right now.
Yeah, then
Yeah,
the
so
coupons, whatever, but it's 30 servings, I think, right?
because like
That's
for me,
40,
I
20.
mean, if I go and buy something that I'm not familiar with, let's just put it this way: I went and bought a saw to cut down a tree for my house. Right? They had saws for like fucking shitloads of money. Right? I spent $5. I wasn't gonna go
You
buy
got
one
a
of the big
beginner
ones.
saw? You
Yeah,
got
I
a
got
beginner
the
saw?
I got not necessarily the beginner saw, but the value saw, right? The cost-effective saw.
Right,
But you get my point, like, because I don't give a shit, and I'm not going to use it every day. I just
Right.
went and grabbed this one that I don't care about, and I
Right.
think that's what a lot of people who probably aren't big on supplements. That's why I'm like, most beginners aren't necessarily beginners. They're just people who probably don't really want to spend $200 a month on something. That's a big amount of money if you wanted like premium stack. That's why I was curious on what
No,
pre-cage
but if you
price
want to
was.
get, but even then, Shane, even then, right? There is a lot of pre-workouts out there for
Oh yeah,
$22, $21 for
they
30,
got some.
right?
They got a
So
lot
take
of good
the
ones.
Curse, J&J. I mean, there's like a bunch of them, and now
Yeah,
even without fitness dinners, right? Like you can get $20. Fuck it. That's what I'm saying. It's bullshit, and that thing is if pre-caged or whatever caged would come with, like you say, $14.99
yeah. I don't know what the price
pre-workout,
is,
then I'd say great. It's an energy drink replacement. Fuck it. Okay, great.
but
But I
I
don't
heard
think that's
25. I thought someone said $25, but I just went on their site. I can't see shit, so I was like, I don't really know what it is.
yeah.
But
And
again,
even
if
if
it
it's
was
25 though, then I would say it's a shitty pre-work. There's better
no,
alternatives.
I would want to see it under 20. If to be honest, for what it is, I would want to see it under 20. But that's the thing. Like for me, I'm not so much a beginner pre-workout. I'm more of a like
Value.
some like he wants entry, not even entry, just cost effective, just value. Like the Universal brand that came out, Universal Direct, their pre-workouts under $10.
Really?
They make no like claim that it's game changing. They're like, this is like a cost effective line. No jokes, bro. Nothing over $10. And it's like 10 full servings. I mean, if you're looking for to save some money, it's as beginner and value and cost effective as it gets.
Robbie, have you ever been approached to do a beginner pre-workout? Because your stuff's intense. I mean, all your stem runs are intense. You've either got 650 milligram caffeine hooligan, you've got assassin, you've got overtime. They are definitely for the advanced supplement user, somebody that is experienced with stimulants, knows how to handle them, and is wise enough to realize that, hey, maybe I don't need all this. I'm intelligent enough to use a half a scoop. Have you been approached, or is there ever any discussions maybe behind the scenes on coming out with a lower stemmed option or a beginner product?
Yeah,
Look at those
yeah,
face.
yeah. A few times, like people mentioned about the fact, to have something a little bit, so to speak, lighter. But to be honest with you, even based on what I just listened, what TJ said and Shane, personally, I don't believe in beginners pre-workouts. It's just my personal opinion. I think when somebody starts to work out, I agree with what you said. In the beginning, there is no need for like fancy supplements and over-the-top shit. And it's just like literally, I mean, if you follow a proper diet, which is the key to your physique, if you follow a proper diet and a proper workout plan, because as a beginner, obviously, unless you're extremely gifted, you're not going to lift tons of weight. You don't need to do like crazy supersets and super and drop sets and stuff like that. Just basics. Basics are, they building the foundation of your physique. If you're training to improve your physique or your strength or something like that, you work on your basics. Same goes, Robert, you've done fighting. You don't jump into black belt when you're doing taekwondo. You're still a beginner. So a basic punch, a basic kick, that's what gets you evolved, progressively. Then once you, in the supplement industry, once you get to use the supplements, I mean, protein powder as a replacement, I guess, or addition, to supplement your protein intake, and probably creatine, maybe a good multivitamin or something like that, are more than enough. If, however, you need to use a pre-workout, entry-level pre-workouts, I mean, I think it's the stupidest term ever. Either entry-level pre-workout or beginner's pre-workout, or, it just makes absolutely no sense to me because, and I do agree with TJ on this one, if we do know some of the ingredients, this is the reason why I'm such a huge opponent of proprietary blends, because there are certain ingredients that we do know that's supposed to work at the certain dosage. And, you and I talk about it a lot. For example, alpha GPC, we do know that 600, 800 milligram at 50%, it's exactly what's needed. So if you see a proprietary blend and the total ingredient is like 500 milligram of a proprietary blend, and in that mix you see alpha GPC, so automatically that it's severely underdosed and, and obviously overpriced. So why would a beginner use alpha GPC at 200 milligram if the requirement is, or the suggested amount to use is 600 milligram? So that automatically rules out any possibility. I mean, a beginner or advanced, it's exactly the same because we get exactly the same benefit. Now, where I do disagree with TJ is the fact that when it comes to stems, you have people that never been inside the gym, but they drinking coffee like it's fucking out of style. They take 1,000, 1,500 milligram of caffeine per day. They're using energy drinks nonstop. So they entry level caffeine, if you would say 200 milligram, I mean, the fucker is not even going to feel it. He's not going to feel anything. Yeah, maybe he never used a pre-workout in his life, but in terms of performance, 200 milligram, his receptors are so fucked and he's so used to it that 200 milligram caffeine is not going to provide anything just because he's never used a pre-workout. Why would he use pre-caged sport? I mean, it's not going to do shit for him. The beta-alanine is too low. And everything essentially is too low. There is no such thing.
But he's not a beginner, right, Robert? I don't think a dude like you're talking about that can't feel 300 milligrams of caffeine.
I don't think there is a beginner when it comes to caffeine. That is the wrong approach. A beginner can use 800 milligram of caffeine and barely feel it. And then you have somebody who is extremely experienced user in terms of like even anabolic steroids. And that guy can take 200 milligram of caffeine, and for him, it's going to be way too much because he's not a coffee drinker and he's not used to it. The whole term of beginner, I don't think, even Apollon, I don't think that what we make is for advanced users. I mean, everything that, at least we try to put in a pre-workout is something that's supposed to work. In terms of caffeine, yeah, maybe for some people it's a little bit too high, but I know people that, double scoop on hooligan, which I wouldn't advise that, but nevertheless, I've seen that happen. But what TJ said also kind of jumped at me, and he's absolutely right about this is the reason why people would expect that I would disagree with TJ in terms of labels are just labels, but I don't disagree, and the reason is because, and we talked about this last week. You have a fully transparent formulas. They're absolutely garbage. They're garbage. On the label it looks phenomenal, but you try it and it's absolute dog shit. Right now I work only with 2 manufacturers because they already proven. And Robert, you were on a conversation with one of them last few days. Everything they do is absolutely perfect. There is a third-party testing and everything else. However, there was one manufacturer who about 2 weeks ago sends me a message that he would like, a shot of manufacturing Apollon supplements. And I said, okay, no problem. So I sent him a formula on something that I've been working on. And he goes to me, like, the service and the response was absolutely tremendous. The guy was, you send him a text message, he fires right back. I mean, very nice guy to talk to. So I sent up a formula that is pretty strong. I mean, it's like up there with Assassin. So I asked him, I said, can you put this together? He sends it to me. And I typically don't try the products by myself. I will make sure that a couple of guys try it to get their feedback, to get their perspective. So about 5 or 6 guys that tried it, we felt absolutely nothing. Not only that, the beta-alanine in it is supposed to be 4 grams. 4 grams of beta-alanine, I'm sorry, but if most people will definitely feel the tingling through the roof. I mean, Hooligan has 3,500 and you really feel it. This one, the formula has 4 grams. We felt nothing. It's a fully transparent label. I came up with a formula. It's pretty strong. There is aggressive in terms of stimulants and everything. It's a transparent formula. Yet, more than likely, the ingredients, I'm not accusing Guy that he is a cheater or anything like that. Not at all. But maybe the source of ingredients is just garbage, because we felt absolutely nothing. I would feel probably caged muscle. The pre-workout, I would probably feel a little bit more than that shit. So it's a fully transparent formula. But at the end of the day, the pre-workout, people want to feel it. People really, really want to feel it. That's the whole, point behind it. And if you don't feel the pre-workout, I'm sorry, it can be fucking transparent. It can be entry level, advanced. It can be all kind of shit. But garbage is garbage, and there is no other way around it.
Lucas is now completely dark. No, he's back.
Yeah, and just like and that echoes home the point that says TJ says labels are just labels, because you could have a great feeling panel, but if you look at it or if you take it and you feel nothing, like I was mentioning earlier, then
I think
what good is the
TJ
label?
reviewed so many pre-workouts, and like I said, it's almost impossible to argue with him, because I'm pretty sure that he used a proprietary blend that is garbage. I mean, at least on paper it's garbage, but he probably felt like he was fucking taking cocaine. On the other hand, I'm pretty sure that he's tried pre-workouts that may be as fully loaded as Hooligan, and he went probably like, what the fuck is this? I can go to bed.
Yeah.
I think a beginner pre-workout is whatever the hell you start with. Whatever you find first, you're going to, like, it doesn't matter, because I think you could start with C4 Dynasty, you could start with Pre-Cage Sport, you could start with Jack. Like, I think whatever you take first, that's going to tell you straight away. Be like, oh shit, this is too intense. Let's halve it. Okay, that's not bad. Then you can figure out, okay, cool. So I like this much. I like that. Could do it more before. And then you can gauge from there. Then you go online and someone's like, this one's got a little bit more focus. You're like, I kind of like that. I needed some of that. And then you're off on your journey, and you're going to find the one that you like the best. Like TJ said, don't necessarily, like, just because someone says the best is the best. I think find your way. Some people like some weird shit. Some people like some mainstream stuff. Some people don't need much caffeine at all. I think the beginner is what you start with, because that's what's going to be your testing ground and what you can compare it to.
It's just like your sex life, Shane. Some people like it a little bit crazy. Some people like it a little bit safer. Some people like it a lot. Some people like it soft. It's in the face.
Some people get kinky right out of the gate and set the standard.
Right.
Let's get weird. Let's go.
It's the prostitute. This industry is prostitution. It's the same thing.
Some are married for 20 years and get nothing. It's
TJ, as somebody that reviews a ton of pre-workouts and a lot of aggressive ones, advanced or just hard-hitting higher stem stuff, how do you, I guess, prevent yourself from getting immune to them or desensitized to them? So how can you give it and we'll go around the panel with this as well, because Lukasz is a pretty high stem user. Robbie has a bunch of coffee. Shane's tried everything under the sun. So how do you prevent give a pre-workout an honest review when you're trying so many different ones and you've tried so much hard stuff? Do you ever just completely stop taking pre-workouts?
Yeah, I cycle off. Otherwise you'll get burned. And if I took Assassin every day, I would stop feeling it, right? It's just, that's the reality. And there's some pre-workouts, there's some ingredients I found over time you get used to even faster than others, than getting used to caffeine or others.
Which ones in particular?
Sorry?
Which ones in particular do you find that?
Me personally, I get used to DMAA really fast. If I don't cycle off it, I get used to it and I stop feeling it really, really fast. Like, I'm talking the original one when it was around, or whatever now, maybe it has some or not. So I cycle off. I usually do, and I have like this routine. I would not stay on super aggressive ones for more than a couple of weeks. But on average, what I try to do, and you can see that in my review cycle also, I'll try to go something more aggressive, then moderate, then actually and in these weeks I'll do one or two. I'll record them and just keep them there, and then I'll go totally steam-free for a week. And I use pre-workouts, but I use steam-free pre-workouts, which basically means for me, just give me the beta-alanine tingling and I'm fine, right? Like that's the most important piece for me. Just to feel like I have something. Like the rest matters less. I was telling also to Robert, like I'm less hot on steam-free pre-workouts with the like focus ingredients. I don't think they do a lot. I think it's placebo. Like without the steams, it's very hard to feel anything. Like I have a couple of nootropics here that are steam free. Yes, man, it's placebo. I don't think it's very hard to feel. It's incremental. So I'll go steam free. I'll steam free formula, beta-alanine. It gets the HOA, right? Because we're at this point where it's so hard to even start a workout without a pre-workout, right? It's an addiction. It's not physical. It's mindset addiction.
Yeah.
And, so I think the beta-alanine takes the itch off, right? Actually brings the itch on and takes the itch off. Like you feel like something, right? So I cycle. Otherwise, I'll just get used to it. And also, but still hard. Listen, I think one of these things with reviews is that you want, in a review, because people are going to make buying decisions based on what you're saying, and it's impossible to hit to everyone's. Like you can't. What I feel is going to be not necessarily what everyone feels. I think based on history, though, and I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't know. It's a blessing, I guess. I usually hit it right with most of humanity.
DJ, I'm sorry to interrupt. You actually said something that kind of piqued my curiosity. Yeah. Was there ever a pre-workout that everybody raved about, but you didn't like it, or you liked it, but it wasn't very popular with others? Do you recall anything like that?
Really didn't like?
Yeah, like say a popular pre-workout that, everybody was like going crazy about, and you were like, it's okay.
So I'll tell you, so it's interesting, but it might sound crazy to a lot of you guys, but like Mezzo, the original Mezzo, I thought was good, but like I don't miss it at all. Like there's so many way better pre-workouts since then that feels to me much better than the original Mezzo. And people were like praising the Lord, hallelujah, like Mezzo is the biggest thing ever and it's the number one. It was at the time Price Plow, right? But they were the only ones around. So it was like number one for like 5,000 years and people were going, it was DMAA and obviously they did a lot of ads. I liked Mezzo, actually, I liked it, but it wasn't like mind-blowing for me. It's
I'll second that.
Okay.
So I think it was a lot of marketing and hype around that one, and High-Tech did an amazing job with the marketing element there. So like for me, it didn't blow my head off. Now, ones that I liked and others didn't like necessarily. So I can only come back to one that I think that was. It's all around managing expectations. By the way, speaking about labels are just labeled. There's a company called Muscle Force, which I actually like a lot of what they've done. They have a pre-workout, Defiant Unleashed, which like you look at the label, you think you're gonna like. It looks so steam junky, like 400 milligrams and DMHA at 200 milligrams and so much shit there. And it's mild. It's mild. So, and I felt it, but I didn't feel crazy. But people read the label and they wanted to feel crazy. And then I got some people going back, said, but I didn't feel crazy. I said, I told you, you won't feel crazy. I remember I did my top 10 and mentioned this one as one I would take at 6 p.m. Like as a night pre-workout. Good, very good experience, but I would take it as a night pre-workout. And I remember like people in the comments said, you fucking crazy. 400 milligrams of caffeine, 200 milligrams of DMHA, taking it at 6 p.m. I won't sleep forever. I said, no, you'll sleep. Trust me. So, but I think most of the time, I got it right on my side, but I didn't feel Mezzo that. I mean, Mezzo was okay, but it wasn't, oh my God, like, that's it.
Lukasz, what about you? Because you're averaging 800 to 1,000 milligrams of caffeine a day. So how do you at breakfast? Yeah. So how do you what is your supplement dosing protocol? Are you taking pre-workout first thing in the morning as soon as you wake up, or how do you rate your experiences and gauge whether a pre-workout is good based off of habitually using caffeine?
Yeah, you know what? Back in the days when I was studying in school, I was drinking coffee. That was my thing. That was my ritual. But since I was
Lukasz, elementary school, right? First, second grade.
Yeah, that's correct, my friend. Yeah, but after school, I became more and more addicted, I would say, to something better than coffee. So yeah, so I was researching and starting to developing my tolerance to caffeine, and basically I was expanding. And with time, I was increasing my dosage from like 200 milligrams up to like 1 gram per day. Sometimes it's even higher. It depends of the day, and everything. But as far as like a pre-workout, that's like for many people, like drinking coffee in the morning is like a ritual, and to me, it's like drinking pre-workouts. It's my ritual. It's my like a time of the day when I can like try something different and focus on something that's like keeps me going. And to be honest, I totally agree with TJ on few aspects. The first thing is that Mezzo wasn't like the best shit ever, in my opinion. Basically, I can also say that to me, Jacked was way better than Mezzo, but that's just my personal perspective. And it was hitting like crazy. Like Two Scoops was doing a perfect job. But as far as like the hard stims and like the products that are like loaded up with like, for example, Assassin, Hooligan, and other stuff, I reserved like 1 to 2 times per week. I'm not going crazy like every day and like just like smashing like myself with DMAA, DMHA, those kind of things, because it's like it messes you up. It can cook you like super fast, and TJ knows this. So yeah, I can drink like Cage Sport like every day, and it won't even like it won't do shit. I could like I need to like take like 4 scoops to like see some changes in my body, or even like feel something. Just like Ben said at the Price Club, he said that he could recommend it to his mom. So I wouldn't recommend to my mom. So yeah, man. So that's my thing.
I think I said that my grandma would need to double scoop that shit.
I had
Robbie, how do you, when you're going to formulate stuff and you're putting stuff together? I mean, you said you drink coffee pretty much throughout the day. So what is your typical caffeine intake? And then say, how do you know whether you've got the right amount of stims in your pre-workout? Because obviously your body's acclimated to processing a certain amount of caffeine a day. So if you throw something else in there, or if you used it in lieu of that, how would you be able to decide, is this right, or is this maybe some carryover from all the other caffeine I've had throughout the day?
I'm a coffee drinker just because, to be honest with you, I like the taste, and I think it has like a placebo effect on me more than anything. I just like, I told TJ his wife makes amazing coffee, although he told me that I give her credit and she doesn't deserve it because it's all him. So
My coffee.
but I just love coffee. I lived in Israel. I lived in Western Ukraine. We lived right on the border with Hungary, and coffee is just huge over there. My mom was always a coffee drinker. I like it. I don't look at it as an energy anything. Like I said, I like the taste. I never looked at it as a major boost of energy or anything like that. In terms of like to formulate products, I mean, I just go with ingredients that are proven ingredients to work, and if I don't know about any ingredients, I'm not too proud to ask those that know. I go to you often, pretty much on a daily basis for advice. I will consult with people. I'm not too embarrassed to ask questions, and when I get a certain pre-workout or I get any product, I'm fully aware that I don't make products for myself. It is a business after all. I want to make sure that we we sell something that I can be proud of. That's very important. But I guess owning a gym gives you kind of a luxury, especially the type of gym like Apollon, where you have a lot of athletes. You can always give out 10, 20, 30 servings to people and just get their feedback. Like today, I was at Apollon and we were preparing for reopening on Tuesday, and there was a bunch of people. So I got some samples from a manufacturer that I visited 2 days ago, and I just gave it around to my friends, and I was like, give me honest opinion on a flavor. Because if it's something like, I don't know, like Enigma or Chainsaw, like BCA, EA, one of those products of protein, what can you really tell? You can only tell the taste, so you need to go to other people. You cannot just trust yourself because it's one person's opinion, When we released chocolate, you've tried our chocolate. Our chocolate, I think, is among the best chocolates on the market, but I'm not a chocolate person. So the first 2 years, I didn't even try our chocolate. Everybody raved about it, so it was good enough for me. After 2 years, I said, like, you know what, fuck it, let me give it a shot. And I really liked it, but I didn't even try it because I think that you have to go to other people and get their perspective, and you have to get, their opinion. And in terms of stems, I don't put 5 or 6 or 7 or 800 milligram of caffeine because, oh my God, I want the highest amount of caffeine per serving on the market. I don't do it. Like Kumite has only 200 milligram of caffeine, and it's more than enough for combat athletes. They don't like, too much caffeine. I don't like it too much when I do that type of training. So it's not about that. I think you just judge but what the market demands and, and what the average consumer wants. And, most of the pre-workouts on the market have 200 to 300 milligram of caffeine. There is nothing wrong with it. It's just I base everything on crowd that goes to Apollon, and that's it. And those guys are a little bit more aggressive. There is market for people that want to take 400 or 500 milligram of caffeine, and they okay with it. And we already know the data, and we know that the scientific proof that there is nothing wrong with that amount of caffeine. It just depends on the person. I think it's more important, how much citrulline we're putting in a pre-workout, or maybe alpha GPC or stuff like that. But I do agree with what TJ said about nootropics, and I think it's a very valid point. I like nootropics, I do. But for me, nootropics personally, and based on people, again, that like overtime, I noticed that nootropics work best, again, my personal opinion and those that I value, they work best with stems. I really noticed that the combination of energy and nootropics, I think nootropics enhance the stems, and stems enhance the nootropics. So I think it's a great combination. I think if we just gave nootropics, we know that there's a huge market for non-stem pre-workout. People that don't want to take caffeine or something like that, they're just looking for focus and pump. Okay, great. But when you want nootropic, whether it's for gaming or you want something, to concentrate, or typically you want a combination with energy, and energy comes from stems. So again, it's the beginning when we formulated overtime. I think it had only like 150 or 200 milligram of caffeine, same as Kumite. And when I gave it out to people to try, to enhance their focus, they said like, it's okay. But when you get a reaction, it's okay. It's not something that you want to release on the market. So we went a little bit more aggressive. And Robert, you actually the one who helped me with that, if you remember. We went a little bit more aggressive with caffeine, with dicaffeine malate. We added tikrine, we added alpha yohimbe, and all of a sudden everybody went like, oh my God, the energy is there, the focus is there, everything is there. So I think you have to do a little bit more research when it comes to market. And, it seemed like we were absolutely crucifying, Caged with the latest release, but it's not the case. The truth is like, yes, we all aware of the fact that pre-workout is extremely cheap to manufacture. It costs nothing, a couple of bucks, like TJ said, $2 or $3 to manufacture. But at the end of the day, I know that you're saving a lot of money on manufacturing the product, but that I just cannot see that product being popular. I cannot see that product taking off. So at the end of the day, you have a cheap pre-workout, but why would you release something that's not going to sell? And there is no way that it's going to be one of the top selling pre-workouts. So, put a few more dollars, formulate a better product, and I think, you're definitely going to sell more.
Gotcha. Before we go to the next topic, I want to get TJ's homebrew recipe for coffee. If this coffee is as amazing as Robbie is saying it is, what's the secret sauce, TJ?
It's actually, I'll send you the link, but we're using Israeli Turkish. It's Turkish coffee, but it's an Israeli brand that you can get on Amazon, and they just do it differently. I mean, you Americans are used to brewed coffee, which to the rest of the planet that grew up on good coffee is as good as drinking someone's piss. So that's a comparison. So it's Turkish coffee. If you ever had like real Turkish coffee where you actually cook it, so you have a thing, you put it on the fire, you mix the coffee in. It's very well, super thin ground, right? Like it's very
very finely ground.
In the let's say the like stores when they have a coffee grinder, then there's espresso. And then there's Turkish coffee. It's like it's thinner than espresso, and so anyway, so you mix it, you cook it, you let it boil, and it's you add the sugar. It just tastes so different. By the way, I just had so it just tastes so different. And
TJ, somebody asked me because I raved about the coffee, and somebody asked me like, "Do you use sugar and stuff like that?" And I was like, "I literally don't need sugar. I actually enjoy the taste as
it's
is."
Good. I drink it with sugar, but it's good. I mean, it's just actually, by the way, I don't like a lot of sugar, but Turkish coffee when it's really sweet, like more than you're used to, it's actually even better. So it's amazing. But you have like I have a friend that we were at the Apollon gym together with him, the guy that I brought to the last seminar pre-COVID, Jamie. Anyway, so I actually got him. I got him like this pot that you cook it in, and the Israeli Turkish coffee. I'll send you the link. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's the kind that you boil on the burner. You put it on the burner on the stove and boil it that way.
It looks like a pot, but it's like specific for coffee.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, my uncle was Cuban, and they use something that's similar. It's not the exact same thing, but it's similar.
Sense. Yeah, makes sense. And then if you buy Turkish coffee, I'll send you the link to both of them. If you get them, I'll take you on WhatsApp video. I'll do like a tour on how to do it. It's not that hard.
Okay. Yeah. No, we've got a French press here and an AeroPress, so we'll try different coffees in different regions and stuff. And I found that like Ethiopian coffees, they just tend to be like too floral and have too many other kind of weird notes going on in it. I don't do Starbucks or any of the other. I drank my share of shitty coffee in the engineering world. I'm done with it. But like I like coffee and chicory from New Orleans. That always tastes good to me just because it's dark and rich. And so if you ever looking to try something,
coffee, right? Still brewed coffee. So a lot of the like there's good. I mean, there's even with brewed coffee that 99% are shit. There's some that are less shit in brewed.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, like once you drink this Turkish coffee type style, it's a different thing altogether. It's not like, hey, this is better coffee. It just tastes totally different. Yeah. It's good.
Awesome.
Good. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So do you think, 'cause a lot of the times, the main driving force behind pre-workouts is caffeine, obviously. That's what gets people up and going and stuff. And the other ergogenics we have in there, the betaines, the glycerols, citrulline, and all of that. Do you think pre-workouts are really needed? Do they serve a purpose? Or, a common response you always get whenever you say is that people will say, just drink coffee. So in the opinion of the panel, do you think coffee is a viable replacement for pre-workout? Can it take the place of it? Or is that people just missing the forest for the trees kind of thing and oversimplifying things?
I think my 2 cents there is that most people that I know that the initial thing with a pre-workout is, for most people, is motivation, right? They need that increase in getting into the gym. It's part of the experience. It's just guys, listen, here's what a pre-workout is to 90% of my following, right? It's just like going to a party with alcohol. It's still a party. Alcohol makes it better. That's what a pre-workout is. It's still a party in the gym. It just makes it better. You're more energized. You're in a better mood. You find yourself jumping and dancing and whatever, and you want to stay a little longer. It's literally alcohol for the gym. That's what a pre-workout is. Now, if you can replace that feeling with more, whatever, with caffeine pills, then great. If you can replace that, I would say, listen, take some beta-alanine and some caffeine pill. You're already in a good place because it will get you sort of in the zone. Now it's like cheap alcohol, right? Like some shitty, I don't know what, Michelab Ultra or whatever you call that shit. Like some beer that is very simple. But if you want to get more, you want a Moscow Mule, you're going to feel a bit better, right? So, and then take some Molly or MDMA, whatever you guys are into. And so I think it's that, right? So you can replace it. I think you can replace it with coffee and something that will get you in the zone or energized.
Mm-hmm.
It's just better when it's better, like when it's happy or motivated or mood elevation or better alcohol. That's my 2 cents there.
Yeah. Shane, what about you? Are you even a coffee drinker, Shane? I don't know if you are or not.
I've had one coffee in my entire life.
Really?
And that's when I discovered that I don't like it.
Really? Seriously?
It was like when I was like 17, 18 or something. I was like, this tastes like shit. It already smelled like shit.
Since?
Huh?
I haven't tried since?
No, because it all smells the goddamn same.
Oh, so the smell like you're okay, interesting.
I mean, like if I smell something,
that makes me happy.
If I smell something, I was like, that actually smells nice. And they'll be like, it's coffee. And I'll be like, I'll give it a try. But someone's like, hey, I got a coffee. He said, yeah, I can fucking smell it. It's like, and it just brings back that one memory that I have of having coffee and being like, this tastes like shit.
I love the smell of coffee, so that sounds
I do too. We have coffee-scented candles at the house, so Shane will immediately vomit if he ever walks in my house.
Same with seafood. I hate the smell of seafood. Alcohol, I hate the smell of alcohol. It's just, don't know. Now for me, pre-workout is kind of, I said about 3rd or 4th on the list. If I buy a stack, I go protein first, multivitamin second, and then maybe recovery and amino third, and then pre-workout, maybe third equal. But I'm sort of a selfish pre-workout person. Like I take it primarily just to. I was always under the impression that if you train at an intensity, when it comes time to perform, you are going to be able to perform better than you train. That's the whole concept. Like you do, you deadlift 5 plates every day. When it comes time to lift big, you're going to be able to do more. It's plain and simple. So if you can have more stims, and it can, no matter what it does, or more stims, more ingredients, more push, and you can lift more, then shit, you're going to be able to perform more when push comes to shove. And for me, I've always I was brought up as a competitive swimmer, so every little thing was noticeable, and energy drinks didn't do anything near as much as Jacked, and then you get the more comprehensive products that could help you push for longer, and so I've always noticed gone for that thing that even it just pushed me 1% more. I'm like, shit. Again, I think I said it before. That's like the separation from first to fifth in some sports. I mean, if you can train 1% better than you could have every day for 6 months, holy shit, that'd be insane. And then your games, when time comes, you're going to literally be just a whole, the next level. So for me, that's what I've always done. I always like the pre-workout that pushes me. I may even get a pre-workout that I need to do review of that week, but if it doesn't look like it's going to push my game, I'm selfishly going to be like, fuck that noise. I'll do it later. I need to perform this week.
I'll take it.
Same with people seeing muscle builders or test boosters. I'm like, look, I actually need to build some muscle for the next 2 months. This is my goal. So I'm probably not going to use that. I'm going to go to something I can rely on. It doesn't work out great because then you won't see a review on stacks. But, at least I know I'm going to be building some muscle. Well, we're trying to.
Yeah. Lukasz, what about you?
Meaning?
Coffee versus pre-workout, are they basically the same thing?
Wake up. Lukasz, wake up.
Yeah, wake up. I know it's getting dark 30 over there.
The light, wash your face.
Have another gram.
Wake up. I'm wake up, but I'm just
Have another gram. That's on point.
Oh, his internet froze again, so I'm guessing they turn off the internet in Poland at 10 o'clock.
The internet is fucking around. Yeah, it's messing everything up. But yeah, as far as I would agree with TJ. As far as like the coffee and the pre-workout. To be honest, when I was starting training at the gym, I always like the coffee, and I preferred the coffee, to be honest. It gave me this nice energy. I didn't rely on any other stims and anything like that. So basically, when I was like finishing my classes, I always like.
His internet needs some coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he was
All
going
right.
to say that it just all blends together.
Actually, I was surprised, Chen. Like, if I had $30 to spend on supplements, for sure pre-workout first. I think Robert and I did an interview, or a podcast, like 100
Guys,
years
I
ago.
was cheap student. I didn't have cash, for any supplements. So, and basically back in the days when I was like starting, there wasn't like that much of variety in the shops. You could buy some AKG, some like caffeine tablets, those kinds of things, and maybe like under the counter you could like grab some Jack and the NOx pill, but that basically was it. But since after coffee, I started taking like pre-workouts, and basically, of course, you can feel the difference straight away, because you have this combination not only of different stims but also caffeine, which helps you, to improve your lifts at the gym. What I totally agree with Shane. If you are taking a pre-workout, you want to perform better. You want to have the better lifts. You want to have this better like training sessions every week. So of course, I totally agree with that. So if you would ask me right now which one I do prefer, I would say, of course, pre-workout is my go-to. But as far as like back in the days, when I was cheap student, coffee was the thing, and it was working.
Does everybody drink coffee here? Is that what I'm hearing? God damn.
Everybody drinks coffee everywhere, Shane. You're like,
Yeah.
you're a million.
Personally, I'm a huge nitro brew guy, and
I thought it was like a 50-50.
No, man. We all love our coffee. I don't drink it every day, but I mean, in the afternoons, I'll usually make a couple of cups of decaf just because I like the taste of it. I don't need the.
Me too, by the way. Speaking
same.
of the exact opposite of you, Shane, I drink a lot of decaf.
By the way,
I have a Turkish coffee decaf, by the way.
By the way, did any of you drink coffee with milk?
Well, when I was growing up, I did, but not like when I was earlier. Well, I was a kid, so my parents would make, not a kid, say like 14 or 15, and my parents would make a pot of coffee over the weekend. I would say, can I have some? And so they put in a shit ton of milk. So, I mean, it comes out looking like light tan instead of dark. And then as I, got into college and then engineering, basically, if you're an engineer, nobody drinks their coffee sweetened or with milk because that's not an efficient way to consume your coffee. You just drink that shit black and go. That's the engineer way to do it.
When I grew up, there was a thing, but it was instant coffee, and instant coffee with water and then milk on top of that. So sort of like poor man's latte. That's how I grew up. But like dark coffee, like black coffee with milk, it's disgusting.
Yeah, just it's just black and unsweetened for me these days.
That's how you roll, man.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Yes.
Robbie, what about you? Do you think? And I guess I should have probably put this caveat in there. There's some research showing that caffeinated coffee and decaffeinated coffee have both outperformed just pure like caffeine anhydrous in an exercise setting. So that's why I guess a little bit I'm wondering why for this pre-workout, maybe people don't like the taste of coffee, and that's why they use a pre-workout. But do you a coffee can surpass pre-workout or ever replace it?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that I think coffee can give you obviously energy, especially if you're not abusing it or not, not drinking it throughout the day like it's water. Then I think it's going to give you like a nice boost of energy for sure. Even tea will do so. There are some very, very strong teas that that highly caffeinated, and you can get great results. But at the end of the day, if it's a good all-around pre-workout that combines proper ingredients and properly dosed, I mean, it's just all around better experience. in a gym. There are probably like types of coffee, and I think you're onto something here, with the research. I think, if you can use proper coffee, caffeine, then you probably can get a little bit of a better energy. There are probably different types. But overall, if you want to work out, I just think that if you're just looking for a little bit of boost, then coffee probably will help, especially if you're not drinking a lot of coffee. But other than that, all around pre-workout is still the way to go, in my opinion.
There was a time where people came out with it. Maybe it's still around, but it seemed to be, there was a period every month someone came up with high caffeine coffee. Like I remember there were a couple of brands that came out with high.
Like last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I was actually talking about this with someone else in regards to Inspired's coffee that they got coming out, that functional coffee. And I was like, yeah, man, I mean, back in the day, you had Ambrosia did a coffee, Black Skull did a coffee.
Right, like Tim Moriello did one, which was a high caffeine.
Yeah, Chaos of Pain did one. Shit, there was like a handful. I feel like it was kind of like the Hollywood situation where everyone came up with the same movie idea at the same time. Like people are like coming out with coffee, and I'm like, this is just weird, because I know you guys weren't just working on it like and saw someone else. You had to have been doing it for a while. It was I'm pretty sure it was last year, maybe the year before, but it was like
I think it was like a couple of years ago. But like every month, someone came up with one.
It was weird.
Someone came up with it, and then the rest said, "Oh, that's a good idea." Steam junkie.
Nah, see, I feel like I talked to some of these guys, and someone would be like, "Yeah, man, I got this coffee coming." I was like, "Oh, like so and so," and they're like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but everyone's doing this shit.
Really?
It's weird."
Interesting.
It's weird like that. Sometimes people, but then the other brands would be like, "Oh fuck, they ripped me off," and I'm like, "Look, dude, it's way too quick of a turnaround for them to rip you off and have it out there that quickly." I'm like,
it didn't really. Do you know of anyone that actually kept on?
It did it. I think Ambrosia's one still going.
Yeah, their Pachamama coffee. I think that's the only one.
Because I think the one that actually started this shit. I don't know if you guys know. It's just not in the supplement industry. Is Death Wish coffee? Have you guys ran into that one? So that's actually a brand. So if you check out Death Wish coffee, right? So that was actually very popular. So they came out with this in 2012. So at the beginning, it was really good branding, and the idea was high caffeine coffee. And they built a brand, direct to consumer, following around that. And then when I can't remember what, but like I think 2016 or something like that, they became a bit more popular, and that's when I think the rest of the supplement companies said, "Hey, shit, that's our space. We should do some high caffeine coffee." But no one could build a brand around it. So Death Wish actually, they have like canned coffee, and they have. Check them out. Actually, really cool branding. They did a very good job with this shit.
I look at it right now. I mean, it looks pretty legit. They're still available, right?
Yeah. They're still available. And they came up with this shit. Wake up with the world's strongest coffee. That's the thing.
Better coffee was from like fucking 2017. God damn it! This year has felt like forever.
Yes, it has. Yes, it cannot end soon enough.
Jesus, and Ambrosia's coffee, Spares Bennett came out 2017 around September. Then Ambrosia was.
I felt it was like 2-3 years, yeah.
And Ambrosia was the month before. It was way too close for it to be like I stole your idea kind of thing.
Yeah, and they all stole it from Death Wish. So Death Wish came up with the first one.
Very cool marketing. I'm looking at it right now.
Really
it's
nice.
Really cool.
Well done.
And interestingly enough, I see they also have instant coffee.
Oh, that's new, probably. Now they're targeting the female community. I don't know.
Guy and the Goats is very interesting.
Yeah, they have pumpkin coffee, all kind of coffees. It's actually pretty cool. I'll order it. How does it taste? Tastes good.
Sounds like
it's good. It's good. And they have it tastes like coffee, but it's stronger.
It's like coffee.
I guess the marketing though is really nice. They've done a really good job around the branding, and now they have like K-Cups and espresso. I mean, they really grew the brand. They started with just buying the beans. Really nice.
I hate K-Cup coffee. That stuff sucks. Every kind of coffee, it comes out tasting super weak or just excessively bitter. And I'm somebody that likes bitter stuff, but I think K-Cups have ruined coffee. I do not like it at all.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like for like you Americans, your standard for coffee is so weak. So yeah, that's why K-Cups could only be successful in the US because you would drink any type of shit and think it's coffee.
Yeah, it's garbage. I don't like it at all.
I think many Americans are drinking the instant shit. That's why, that's why their taste buds are.
I think it's more about this brewed shit, like when you come in and you see like this in the offices when I moved here, right? Like there was this brewed jug just sitting there all fucking day. It's disgusting. Like it's
gross.
But it's the standard, right? But they call their I'm now on their website. Their K-Cups are called Death Caps. So I like it. That's a good.
Nice.
The branding is brilliant. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Shane, kick us through the fast hit news topics now, sir.
Yeah, what's news, Shane? What's news?
There's a lot of news, TJ.
Talk to me.
By the way, I have my shirt. It should be here like on Monday. Really? I was gonna wear it, but yeah.
Where is it going? It's like it's doing the air travel now.
It's over the Pacific right now.
On a plane. Your shirt is on a plane right now. FYI.
Traveling with COVID.
Yeah. Someone's passed it on in TJ's shirt and it's gonna blow it up in New Zealand.
Extra.
The first story I got is, and I'm gonna throw this at Lukasz, and I know he's excited about this. I'm excited about this. He probably knows what I'm talking about anyway. It is the Barbells, the new Barbells Protein Bar. They, as if you haven't heard of them,
there's a vegan one they came up with.
Legendary protein bar makers. Kind of set the standard when they came out years and years ago, at least on the candy bar style. They haven't really done too many different protein bars over the years. They've got the core bar, which is like their smaller bar with like a gooey center, and then this week they've come out with Double-Bite, which is basically a protein puff bar, kind of like the Synthesix one, I guess. But it's just all out soy puffs with a layer of gooey caramel or chocolate across the top, and then all wrapped in chocolate. And if you know Barbells, that shit's going to taste amazing. I just hope that the consistency isn't shit. But yeah, Lukasz, I know that you have to be sharing my excitement on this one.
Yes, man. Yeah. Once I saw the story, I was like, at last something new, because they launched the vegan new flavor.
A
few weeks ago, but I was waiting for something new, and now they are like launched completely different bar.
It is, yeah.
Which the build is pretty much different. So that's the one thing. What excites me the most is that they are launching already 2 flavors at the same time and not just one. So that's pretty cool. I think that the macros are pretty cool, are pretty legit. And what's great about the bar is that it's probably gonna be not vegan, right? It's gonna be way based.
Yeah. It's the puffs are soy puffs.
Oh, okay. So,
but I don't imagine everything else is I mean, they only promote the one bar as vegan, which is all right. But I mean,
only 2 grams of sugar, 19 grams of carbs,
no added sugar. That's the motto for everything.
It's less than 200 calories per bar, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's Barbells. My love to Barbells. I love what they are trying to do, here in Europe, and they're succeeding, and they're also, their distribution policy is pretty much also set up, so it's hard to sell their products, in different countries, and they're doing their thing. So what?
They deal direct with all the countries, do they not?
Yes, exactly. That's why they are very strict. They're very strict with their policies as far as distribution, which allows them to control the pricing and everything. So that's smart from their side,
I tried when I was traveling in Iceland. I tried one was okay. I wasn't blown away, but maybe I just fell on
Depends what
TJ,
flavor you got.
yeah.
Because they have like their original 4. They're like their cookies, coconut, salty peanut, and cashew caramel. Like the cookies and the coconut are like not even in the same wheelhouse as the other 2. It's like I bought one of each, and thank God I bought the salty peanut just because it was gold. And their ability to make chocolate just taste like real milk chocolate, and their caramel is as sweet and salty as like the real thing.
Okay. So
but then their cookies and cream and their coconut, like, I mean, it just doesn't taste any of the same. But it's that sweetness, that realistic sweetness that they nail. That like
really okay.
And it's too good. This bar, I'm hoping. Yeah, me and Lukasz are meant to be in Sweden this year. So hopefully next year. But I'm glad that they're expanding, because again, it's kind of like, Quest. They've introduced several bars over the years, but same with the one bar. So I've always appreciated when companies that have a hit product evolve, don't just stick on the one thing, especially in functional space. So yeah, the next story I have, this is for
shit. Guys, you know what I just saw? Look at this. You ready?
Oh, here we go.
Oh no, seriously.
Oh god, it's either going to be really funny or really serious. It's one of the two.
No, it's really serious. It's really serious. Look at this.
Yeah, but even when you say that, it could still be either way.
Are you seeing my screen?
Oh god, what is it?
I can get this shit on Amazon.
Oh yeah, they came to the US on Monday. I mean, sorry, Monday, January. Jesus.
So which ones should I get?
The salty peanut or the caramel cashew. The cookies and cream is.
Who's distributing them though?
A company called Vitamin Well, if I'm not mistaken. It's not actually Barbells straight, as far as I know.
They're not Crunchy Prime. That's interesting.
The Crunchy Fudge, I thought was going to be nice, but because that was the original.
Are these the ones that you mentioned?
Oh yeah, no, the new one, the new one. They have their line in Sweden is just like. They got ice cream.
So many Vitamin Well, yeah, you're right. How many? They have so many reviews already. How did that keep happening?
Yeah, they've been here since January, I think.
In the US.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They're a sister company of Nocco, I believe, the no carb company beverage. They came into the US last year, so it was almost a matter of time before.
Okay, I'm gonna grab it then.
Grab the salty peanut.
Yeah,
grab the salty peanut. Okay. And you'll know exactly what I mean when I mean like.
And the other one that's amazing is what? Salty peanut and what?
Caramel cashew.
Caramel cashew.
Those are the originals. Those are the best representation, in my opinion.
Okay.
So the TJ giving a shameless plug for Barbells there, but anyway, the next story I got is for Robic, and I don't know, and I'll be interested to hear your opinion on this. I thought this was a really cool idea, and the only reason I heard about it is because the UK brand Applied Nutrition announced it. USN apparently has teamed up with these guys before, but there's a company out in the UK called Protein Life Express, and they've teamed up with Applied Nutrition, which you may or may not be familiar with. Big company in the UK and Middle East and Europe, distributed by Prometeus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
They teamed up with this company to create not a vending machine, but a drink machine. And so it's a completely branded, I believe the company itself, Protein Life Express. It's sort of like a white label thing. I don't know. I'm assuming they offer it to other companies, but they teamed up with USN previously, but I think it was protein only. I'm not sure. But they've teamed up with Applied Nutrition. It's a drinks machine, basically put in a cup, and you can choose pre-workout, and it spits out a serving of pre-workout. You can choose amino, and it spits out a serving of amino, or you can choose protein. And it's basically like a coffee machine, but you just press and pour. And I just thought, you being a gym, I just thought this was fucking the coolest shit ever. I don't know how much it cost and everything, but and it's fully like branded in Applied Nutrition. It's got their branding, their colors, their logo, full print. I mean, as a gym owner and a brand, you must be sharing my excitement.
Shane, what does it dispense?
So it's like a serving a pre-workout, kind of like the drinks machines at fast food joints.
Really?
You just basically press the button, and I believe the serving. You pick pre-workout amino or protein, and it's the pre-workout amino protein.
Such a good idea, Robert. What do you think? You're ordering?
I think it's a brilliant idea. I mean, the only issue with that probably is the fact that I'm pretty sure they're only going to sell their own brand. So that's pretty cool.
It's the company.
Why do we need them? Let's build one of these. It's nothing.
The Protein Life Express is the company, I believe, who makes the machines, or at least distributes the machines.
Yes.
Then they team up with the brand to then put their supplements in it. So I guess
I think it definitely could work, and I think it's a brilliant idea. There is no other words. I mean, it's excellent. The only issue with that would be, you put it inside the gym, and you have every gym. I don't know. Sometimes you have a couple of thousand members, and they not all want to get the same brand. I mean,
you could probably line up one from each brand.
Yeah, you probably if you could do. You don't need to put all the brands, but if you could do at least 4 or 5 different pre-workouts, then I think it could definitely work even better. But a vending machine that would only sell one particular pre-workout.
That is an interesting point.
That's the only, I think, downside to it, because an average Joe is probably not going to have a problem getting C4, but each and every one of us, if we were at the gym, I doubt that we would get a C4 from a vending machine. So that's the only downside.
It must take an investment from the brand, I guess. Then, if they're only allowed to sell the one.
I mean,
brand,
if they're gonna monopolize and they're gonna use only the brand, so I guess if people don't have any other choice at the gym, they'll probably get it. But on the other hand, a lot of people are ordering their pre-workouts online or something like that, so they have their own pre-workout. So that's the only probably downside.
Oh, there you go.
But the idea is absolutely brilliant.
That's pretty cool.
Protein, they do.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is the company.
It's a great idea.
Robic, now imagine you could do it with Hooligan, Overtime, Assassin.
Yeah, it would be great. But like I said, I think you just need more than one brand. That's the only downside, in my opinion. Other than that, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
but if it was your gym, though, would you just want the one? Wouldn't you just want Apollon in there?
Yeah. I mean, we already sell it, so it's not an issue. But I think it's very convenient, because people can just walk up to a vending machine, so that saves you a lot of time and energy of doing your own stuff. So I think it's great.
I mean, I think it takes
Protein Life Express chain is really new. They just came up with this shit.
Yeah,
I thought they'd been around for a while.
So their website is still under construction.
How old was
How much would you be willing to pay for a serving of each of those? If you're a consumer, how much would you be willing to pay for the pre-mixed pre-workout protein and
average is about $3, I think, pretty much in every gym. I see $2.50
people would pay for this shit.
People would pay. They pay already for a pre-workout $3-4.
Yeah, like an RTD. And I see they have one, by the way, they're a British company, so they have another one co-branded with USN chain. So I think they just came out. Everything I see post from them is fresh, is new.
Yeah,
free.
The US one, the USN one's been around for a while. I mentioned that. They UK company. I'm pretty sure they've been see, they got posts on their machine all the way back to 2018. The machine's been around for a while. I'd heard of it.
So
I hadn't seen them brand it though. The USN one, USN one's about a year old. But I remember if the USN one, I remember it only being one product. That's why I liked the idea of the applied one, where you had the ability to just do amino, protein. I thought that was really cool. But then, as Robert said, you could probably get 3 combined. I mean, if you were Nutribulk, you could do a C4 and an Extend. Co-branded the little word really nicely.
The company was started very late 17, so it's new. It's relatively new.
Oh, I mean, I guess. As far as new goes, it's 3 times.
Incorporated. Yeah.
I thought it was a cool idea.
Have you guys seen anything like that in the US? Like a vending machine, like a pre-workout protein? That's actually really Cool.
The UK and Europe, man, convenience is taken to another level over there. I still remember when I went to a gym in it was Norway or Denmark. I think it was Norway. I didn't see a single bulk supplement in the front at their storefront at the gym, and it blew my mind because all they had was shelves and shelves of drinks, bars, and protein shakes. They did away with all of the tubs, no bags, and people were just walking around with on-the-go shit. And I understand it's a different country economically, but I had just never seen that, where like you could just, it was on the go and that was your only option, and nobody had a problem with it.
Interesting.
It was just I mean, it's a different country, different place. But anyway, so I've got, it's always hard to pick a story for TJ. Robert, you know what, I'm actually going to throw this one to Robert because TJ might do, so yeah, the Vitamin Shop teamed up with, I'm not too familiar with this company, with Instacart. And so now you can get your Vitamin Shop supplements to your door in as little as 1 hour. I mean, it's they promoted it as a pretty big announcement. I thought it was pretty interesting. My question is, I know Amazon offered it as sort of like not a speed, but they have different options that get shit to you fast. I was curious. I mean, I like the idea of getting your supplements straight to you as soon as possible. Do you think you would require a supplement in as little as an hour?
Not at all. No. I mean, unless I have like some chronic deficiency, like a B12 deficiency, and I needed to get my vitamin B12 in 30 minutes or an hour, or I'm going to start, going anemic. It's a nice collaboration, and maybe it'll help.
I think it's like
the brick and mortars.
Nice addition. It's a nice addition.
But, yeah, I don't see it moving the needle for their sales all that much. I mean, who the hell needs it in as little as 1 hour? And what's the markup for getting it 24 hours later versus 12 hours later versus 1 hour later?
I'm not familiar with Instacart. Like,
we use Instacart here all the time, but for groceries, like since the COVID thing, Instacart, I think it's a COVID thing probably also. Instacart usage grew. I think it's 700% in the US.
Shit.
Yeah, because it's like people, it's like personal shoppers. They go to the shop, they pick up the shit, and then they bring you the stuff. And they, like, if they can't find what you're ordering, they'll like go live and send you a picture, say, hey, is this okay?
Damn.
Because I can't find this. Like, it's a personal shopper because you don't want to go to the shop. They've been around for a while. It's just people use them also, but COVID just blew them up.
They seem to have teamed up with like only really big locations like Walmart, Costco. I mean, there's a lot of others, Publix, but the Vitamin Shop. I'm not sure if it's the only like major supplement chain they're attached to. But
the use case, like Robert said, I don't understand the use case. Like, what? Why can't I wait for Amazon to bring my shit?
Right, yeah. And what's the markup cost for it? What's the extra delivery fee going to be? Because even if like a bunch of stores, even like the liquor stores around here, will deliver stuff to you, but it's like, so you can either do curbside pickup, you can walk in and do it, or you can have it delivered to you. But usually the delivery fee is like $10 or $15, and then they want to ask you for a tip on top of that. And I'm thinking, Instacart does that, and well, even just the stores have their own services that they offer. Like they'll have one of their own employees drive it out to you. And unless I'm hosting a party or something, I can understand need to pay for like within the hour shipping for booze or food. I don't see the need for a pre-workout. I need my pre-workout now. We're going to take it, or I need my scoop of protein. I'm going to go catabolic. I don't see it.
Think of a scenario here. What if you had a workout like 2 hours, right? And you're like, I want to pre-workout. I'm going to take that. You go to the cupboard. You're like, holy shit, I'm out. I'm out. And everyone's like, this is the time we're going to work out. That's 2 hours to go. How much would you pay?
I should bring you a scoop.
I would borrow a scoop from my friend. I would make coffee. I would drink. Drink an energy drink or 3 Coca-Colas to get a decent amount of caffeine.
Let's streamline the situation. They were like, Robert, you're the engineer. Bring us the best pre-workout. And you're okay. So they're relying on you now.
Oh, wow.
How much would you pay to get that tub to you, or would you just rather call them up and be like, guys, it's not going to happen?
Yeah. As the engineer, I would just say, suck it up, take your balls out of your purse, and just get your ass over here for the workout. You could go one day without some pre-workout.
What if, like, you see this one? I don't know. If I was out and I was in dire need,
Yeah.
I think for me, I would pay $5 maximum.
On top of the all right, so you got a $40 tub of pre-workout, so you'll pay an extra $5 on top of it to get it to you within an hour.
I've done worse, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's reasonable.
that's
Actually.
valid.
I don't know how much it is. I haven't used the platform before. I'm not sure how much it will cost.
It's a bit more expensive when you buy through Instacart, but it's like 10% more expensive. Plus, like Robert said, there's a minimum. Plus, there's but again, the use case. Obviously, what you just described as a scenario for Robert can happen every
Very
day.
rare.
But like other than that, I don't understand the market. There's no use case.
I think it's a cool addition. I think it's interesting that they did it.
It's a good marketing gimmick, I think, more than anything else.
It might come, but I mean, at least, like I said, at least if you're like, guys, we have no pre-workout, what are we going to do? I mean,
there's an option for it now, yeah.
And then they'll be like, holy shit, did you know?
So if you've got 1 hour, why not just drive out to the store yourself, do the curbside pickup thing, and then just come back home?
Instacart doesn't take
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to come up with a situation where I think you're just picking holes in the story.
Sorry, that's the engineering brain trying to find the holes in everything.
Either way, I thought it was a cool idea. I thought it was a cool angle. I mean, obviously, you can order it. I don't know. Can you order it from multiple places? Can you order from the one place? I mean, it's interesting.
One shop. They go to one shop.
They can't stack it.
No, it's a person, right?
Yeah, so they just stop off on the way home.
So actually,
I don't know.
During an hour.
Anyway, okay. Well, I thought it was an interesting addition. I mean, again, it got us talking about it. Get your supplement for an hour. I thought that was a cool thing. I'm sure there would be a time in my life where I would need a Quest bar or a serving of something in an hour. I don't know when.
There might be.
It's also dependent. I think they said it's obviously as little as an hour. Some locations are 2, 4, whatever. Anyway, okay. So the last story I got is for TJ, and it's the Universal Nutrition, the new brand, Universal. The guys who make Animal, they've come out with a brand called Universal Direct.
Man, I was gonna tear their pre-workout formula to shit. You're lucky that TJ's getting this.
I swapped it around. It's I mean, it's as I'm not even gonna say beginner. It's like if you're looking to spend $20, $30 a month on supplements, you can get a creatine, a protein powder, and a moderate pre-workout, and it'll last you the whole month if you work out twice a week, 3 times a week. It's like, and again, everything's under $10. Even though the formulas are scaled like drastically, the protein I think was 15 servings. I mean, they're making no claim that it's called Universal Direct. They've very clearly said it's a cost first type brand. I think I have to get your opinion. I seriously think that products under $10, even though the formulas are there to match. I mean, you're going right, and some of their products are $5. I mean, I feel like there's an audience for it.
I think it's a brilliant concept. There's it's a brilliant concept. I'm not saying I'm not talking about the specific formulas, but I think to be able to go, it's like the dollar shop. You don't have to go and buy there. If you want to go buy Pottery Barn or whatever, then go buy there, right? Or Pier 1 Imports if they're still around. But some people want to go to the dollar shop, and I think that there's a market for that. And the concept of being able to say everything is what's the name of that store in the US? It's really big. 5 and Below. Is that called 5 and Below? There's a shop, a store, a chain. It's 5 and Below. Everything is $5 or less. Whatever it is, it's $5 or less, right? So I think that there's a market for that, and I think that whether the execution. So as a concept, I totally dig it. Like if I know I can go online. I need a protein. Fuck it. I know I'm gonna get $10. $9.99, whatever. I think that there's a market. You can create noise. You can create some appeal around it. It appeals to a specific niche that I understand. I can understand that niche. Totally get it. As far as the actual execution, though, that's where I think there are like. So first, I totally didn't like the design. It looks like shit. Like really, the fact that it's cheap. I always tell to people. I told that to Robert also, to Robic a few times. The cheapest thing on your cost of goods is design. Make this shit look good. It costs exactly. It's the same piece of fucking paper. Just get a good designer. Make it look awesome. The fact that it looks like $5 is not helping you. It can be $5 and look like $50 with the same cost of goods. So I think the fact that it looks cheap doesn't help them, right? I think it looks like some supplement from the 40s. And then as far as the actual formulas, creatine is creatine. It's very hard to fuck this thing up, right? And the rest of the stuff I think that people will appreciate. Protein, I think that it's a super competitive market. I don't know how there's cheap protein out there. Like you can get easily on every day 50 cents per serve for good protein, not shit protein. So I don't know how they're going to compete. So I think it's a good concept. If you would tell me, hey TJ, put have $500K investment in that initiative, based on what I've seen so far, I wouldn't invest because I think they're gonna fuck up the execution on this thing. But I think that there is a space for that. And Robert, if you want to tear the pre-workout formula, feel free.
I'm just my beef is, all right, we're gonna make. I love the idea, the direct concept, doing the economy line, if you want to call it that. That's fine. You want to do something direct to them, that's great. And I agree with TJ's sentiments on that. The execution, like he said, I think if you're gonna charge somebody, you're gonna make a $10 pre-workout. The best quality that you can come up with is 3.5 grams of BCAAs. That's the first ingredients in there. Then 4.25 of citrulline malate, 1.4 of beta-alanine, 700 milligrams of tyrosine, and 250 of caffeine.
Isn't that the pre-gauge sports label? You just
it's pretty close to it. Throw that 3.5 grams of BCAAs out and then jack up the other doses. Put a gram of everything else towards more citrulline, more beta-alanine, more tyrosine, and then you'd have a really decent formula. I think that would be a steal for $10. If you have effectively dosed citrulline malate.
See, the one thing I like about this is like they do say maximum 2. So you double these.
How many servings do you have in the $10 pre-workout?
20, but then
20.
10 if you double it. But if you double it,
that's 500 caffeine, and that's fine. But you don't need BCAAs pre-workout. Just get that shit out of there. And then in their BCAA supplement, they've got L-glutamine. So I think that's where it's shit. Yeah, you don't need that stuff pre-workout. Just get that out of there. It's useless filler, and it makes me think that they've got an extra supply of BCAAs that they just need to get rid of before it expires.
If you get rid of the BCAA and you have a $10 pre-workout for 20 serve, that probably and just put more beta-alanine so make it feel good. It's cheap as fuck anyway. Man, I think it's a good concept.
You can buy the pre-workout and just you don't need to buy the BCAAs. You get them all in one. $10. That's a deal.
Put that 3.5 grams of BCAAs into the actual BCAA tub. Get the shit ass glutamine out of there, and then you can.
You don't need to buy it anymore. You can just get it all in one.
Yeah,
I'm actually I'm not entirely sure, but as far as I know, this is probably the first brand that I've ever seen that does 10 or less. I've never seen a brand. You get the commodity stuff with like the creatine and the BCAAs, but no one does a protein or a pre like that.
I really like it. But listen, here's a couple of things, just marketing. And again, I don't want, usually I'll charge for the advice, but here's one on the house. Seriously, have one, like a dedicated site for this shit. This is
I thought that was interesting.
It's a product tag on their Shopify store. That is literally retarded. Build a brand around this thing. Build a brand. Now, that's number one. That doesn't feel like anything. It just feels like, oh, I get it what you did here. This is the cheap shit. Because the other people go, no, build a brand around it. Make it look nice. Say, hey, we cut the middleman. We go direct to, tell a story around this shit. It's a product tag, and then the stuff looks like, look at it. Looks like from the 40s. So I think it's a great idea with super bad execution. Really bad execution.
Well, there we go.
There you go.
Great idea. I like it. I think it's great. I mean, again, I would probably refer to this on more occasions than I would need a pre-workout in an hour. I would feel like there would be definitely a time where I would need 500 milligrams of caffeine for less than $10.
Yeah, no, it's an energy drink type, right?
Yeah, I mean it's caffeine powder because the citrulline's not effectively dosed. I mean, unless you double scoop it,
Yeah, I'm basing it on double scooping it because it says, they say do not exceed 2. So of course I'm not exceeding 2. But at 2, you're looking at what, 8.5 grams of citrulline, and then the 2.9 beta alanine, 500 milligrams of caffeine. I mean, it's certainly
better on the formula. Just throw the BCAA, put a bit more citrulline, a bit more beta alanine, and you're sort of good. I mean, for a beginner, $10, 20 serve. I think there is a space. Forget it. They can fix that easy. That's easy to fix. Marketing execution is harder to fix. Why is it?
I feel like they'll evolve if it does well. I guess I reckon they'll evolve if people like the concept and they can easily chop and change. I mean, they manufacture their own stuff, if I'm not mistaken, so it's not going to be difficult.
Right now, it's on official Universal site, right?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
It's
I think their main concept is to right now just to introduce people to this concept and maybe
I think maybe they just want to
react positively. If people react positively, to this entire thing, maybe they will try to build a new site or something like this. Or maybe they want to also help with the sales of their premium lines.
Yeah,
So basically, people when they're buying from their side, they are grabbing, for example, animal stuff, some Universal products, and I see this cheap stuff. Maybe I will grab some extra. Just
I like that. I like that.
My mom or my dad.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, again, I'm sure they'll chop and change if it does well, but yeah, I think a line under $10 is interesting. I've never seen it.
Yeah, the concept is great. I want to see a little bit better execution on the formula side, but that's
because you're an engineer.
Exactly. I want it engineered to perfection every time. Don't let it out of the shop until it's ready to go.
Big boss.
There we go. All right, gentlemen, that puts a wrap on this episode. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'm sure we'll be texting and whatnot as we usually do after hours.
Of course.
Okay, guys. Take care.
See ya.
Take care.